Okay, now from chapter number 1, brick, beats and bones. Today we are going to discuss about the point number 4, that is tracing social differences. Now here, tracing social differences means archaeology want to know about, is there any kind of social difference, is there any kind of social or economic difference in their Harappan culture? So they want to know about, so they want to find about it, so they use two different sources to find about the social or economic difference. So these two sources are, first source they use burial. Burial means graveyard where we used to bury our dead body, right? And second, they used to find about the social difference in ancient time or Indus-Valley civilization. They use looking for the luxurious item. Luxurious is, as you know, right, something that we need more than necessary for the sake of enjoyment or comfort. So here, burial where the dead body used to bury, and then luxurious item, right, that used to enjoy by the elite people or rich people. So we are going to discuss one by one. First, we are going to discuss about a burial. Now, why burial was considered one of the important source to know about the social or economic difference of Harappan culture, right? So as you know, to know about the social or economic difference, burial became one important source, right? Now, see, did you see that kind of pyramid in any kind of movie or anything? Yes, pyramid in Egypt belongs to Egypt civilization, right? And that's in Egypt belongs to these kind of pyramid belong to the king, right? Where the dead body of king used to bury. Now, what archaeology found? Archaeology found huge amount of wealth, right, buried inside this pyramid. But in case of our own Indus-Valley civilization, we don't have, archaeology have never found, or they never found such kind of massive graveyard or this burial. But in our civilization, the Indus-Valley civilization, what archaeology found, they found some grave means burial, let's say graveyard, contain pottery and ornament. What they found in some grave, they found pottery, ornament and many other jewelers and many other things. Right? In some burial or graveyard, they have not found anything. Right? So what it shows that there must be some kind of social difference there by looking at the graveyard. Right? And archaeology also give information about why they bury these kind of pottery, ornaments, things with the dead body, because they believe that they could be used after the life death. So see, Harappan people believe the concept of life after death. Right? So another thing what they found is in some burial, what archaeology found, they found copper mirror buried along with dead body. So they also found copper mirror. Copper mirror is, the image of copper mirror is in your textbook. And now, finally, the archaeology believe that Harappan people did not believe in burying of precious things with death. Maybe archaeology have, they never found a burial having lots of these precious things. So that's why archaeology assumed that Indus-Valley people not believe in burying this precious with the dead, precious things with death. So this is all about how burial, classify, or how burial give us information about the social or economic difference during that time. The second sources to know about the social difference is looking for the luxurious. As I told you, luxurious means anything that you need more than necessary, right, for enjoyment. So how archaeology find social or economic difference by looking at this luxurious item? So what archaeology did? So another way to identify social difference is to study artifact. Now here artifact is an object that made by people. An object made up of stone, wood, metal, whatever it is. Object that is made by human, it's called artifact. Now what archaeology did? Archaeology classified the artifact into two parts. Right? That's our first, utilitarian. Utilitarian means utility, daily uses, right? We use it. And second one is luxurious, as I told you before, luxurious. Now, how they differentiate between this according to the artifact? Now, first, utility items. So utility items are objects Utilitarian object means object of daily use. At that time, the people used, in this valley, people use daily objects like this, a wood, made of wood, made of clay. Right? Now, luxurious item means objects that are rare. Now, gold, field sport, these are very rare in the Indus Valley civilization. Now, second difference between these is utilitarians are objects that are made up of ordinary raw materials, just like pottery, and this kind of made up of wood, stones. So these are available everywhere. You can find this kind of object from everywhere, right? In all the settlement. But luxurious object means that are made up of costly and non-local materials. To make this kind of object, right, what they need to do, they need to bring raw material from the other country. Right? These kind of raw materials are not available in Indus Valley civilization. So these are the objects which considered as a luxurious item. Now, example of this is here the clay pot, and here fierce pot. If you look at this picture, both of these are pot, right? This is pot and that is also pot, right? But what is different between these two? One is considered as a utilitarian, one is considered as a luxurious. Why? Because to make this kind of pottery, it's easy, right? Raw materials are easy, you can find from everywhere, and to make this kind of pottery, you don't need that much kind of skill, and this kind of pottery you can find in every settlement. But to make this kind of pottery, you need some kind of skills, right? Also, raw materials are not that much available. To make this kind of fierce pot, what they need to do? First, they need to get a ground sand, they mix with silica, then mix with color, then mix with gum, and then mold into the desirable shape, and then you need to bake or fire. So through that way, the process becomes very costly. So through that way, archaeology look after the social difference or economic difference through looking at the artifacts. By looking at artifacts, and archaeology know about the social difference in Indus Valley civilization. Okay, next topic that we are going to discuss about finding about craft production. As we all know that Harappan people are very skilled in making this craft production, but archaeology want to know the exact place where these works are going on, right? Craft productions are going on. So for that, archaeologists mentioned the name of the one place, that is Chuhandaro, are very devoted in making these craft productions. See, we have the Chuhandaro exclusively devoted to craft productions, including bead making, shell cutting, metal working, seal making, and weight making. See here, beads, right? Beads making. And Chuhandaro is a very special place. It's not that much big settlement as compared to, it's a small settlement as compared to Mohenjo-daro, but it's very popular for the craft production during the Indus Valley civilization. So to make a beads, right? To make a beads, what we need different kind of raw materials, right? Just like, see, the variety of raw material used to make beads. Indus Valley people use variety of raw materials to make beads or different kind of jewelries and different kind of artifacts, right? So what kind of metal? They use copper, bronze, and gold. These are one of the most in this available. These are the metals that used by the Indus Valley people. But archaeology has never found a trace of iron. So that means there was no any find of iron in Indus Valley civilization. So to make a beads and any other jewelries, we also need different kind of semi-precious stones, different kind of stones. So gold and various semi-precious stones were used, like lapis lazuli. Then we have this jasper. Then we have quartz. There are different kind of stones were used to make beads. Then when the making of the bead finished, what we need to do to drill to make a hole, right? So specially drillers who are located in Chuhandaro and Lothal, these two places were specialized in drilling the beads. Lothal in Gujarat and Chuhandaro in Pakistan, right? See map over here. Chuhandaro in present-day Pakistan, right? And then we have Lothal in Gujarat. These are the two places which is very devoted to making a crop production. We have another place also, just like this, Nageshwar and Balakot. Nageshwar, see Nageshwar here, tip of the Gujarat, right? and then Balakot here. If you must be heard about this Balakot air strike, the surgical strike done by the Indian government in 2019. Right? Now, if you notice, these both places are near the coastal area. Right? So here, the find of seals these shells are very pretty easy. Right? So that's why these two places, Balakot and Nageshwar, were very specialized in making shell object like bangles, like jewelries, and many things. Understood? Now, and finally, when the craft productions were done and finished product, right, and finished product such as beads or whatever it is, from Chuhandaro and Lothal were taken to larger center such as Mohenjo-daro and Harappa. So when they finished everything, the finished product just like this, what they did, they transfer or they take it to the Mohenjo-daro and Harappa culture, because these are the kind of very big settlement of Indus Valley civilization. Got it? Okay, then now we know about the craft productions, right? We also know the place where this craft productions were done. But now to find about the exact location where these works were going on, so that's what archaeology did. To know about the exact location, see, identify centers of production. That means where the in other words, you can say factory, to find the factory where it is. So that what I think is to know about the exact location or center of production. Most important source to know about is waste. See, to identify the center of craft productions, archaeology look for the following. First, waste. Waste are key sources to know about this center of production. Now here see, unfinished objects, tools, rejected and waste materials are very important to know about the center of production. Suppose, see, okay, let's assume it is a Rakesh, right? Now, because of lockdown, Rakesh were not allowed to go to work. Suppose if I saw this place, I would definitely say that belongs to some kind of carpenters. Why? The question, because I found unfinished objects. Unfinished objects were there, right? And I also found tools belongs to carpenter, different kind of tools they used, right? And I also found rejected things. See here, lots of these rejected wood pieces were there. Then waste materials. So by looking at these things, I would, without wasting any second, I would say that place belongs to carpenter. Right? How? Because looking at the waste. Just like that, suppose here, tailors, right? Because of lockdown, assume him as Suresh. Because of lockdown, both him and machines were not there. But even I can exactly tell you this place belongs to the textile production, work of textile or going over here. Why? Because of the waste over there, waste of these clothes. I would definitely say this place belongs to textiles, tailors, right? How? Because looking at the waste. So that's why waste is one of the best indicator, means to show. Your bike have an indicator, right? To show craft work. How? Suppose if shell or stone is cut to make object, to make it in a desirable shape, then pieces of the materials will be discarded. Suppose if I want to, make it shape that I want, so I will cut the different kind of shape. So this, in this process, lots of things were discarded. Unwanted pieces were discarded, means throw away here and there, right? At the place. By looking at this place, then we know that it is the center of production. So archaeology finds through that way where the center of productions were there. So this is all about identifying the center of production.